Welcome back. You're still watching Market with Noor on ET now. Let's shift gears and focus on what's happening in Motown. Very, very dismal set of numbers. Four-wheelers, two-wheelers, both of their sales have almost halved if you compare it what the level that they were in the same period last year. So they've really halved. Strong double-digit degrowth across segments, across companies. Maruti, their domestic numbers, if you look at it, they are sub 1 lakh units. It has been the first time in many months, in fact more than 2 years, when they last sold, Pankaj, less than 1 lakh units in the domestic market. Even overall, if you look at it, exports is a very small share, but if you combine the both as well, the degrowth is 33%, worst kind of decline ever seen by the market leader, Maruti. But Maruti is not all. There's M&M, Auto, M&M Tractors, Tata Motors PV, Tata Motors CV. All of them have witnessed very, very deep cuts. If you look at an Escorts, at an M&M Tractors, strong double-digit degrowth seen there as well. Ashok Leyland, we were expecting at least sequentially they will show some signs of improvement, some flattish growth, but no, that was not the case. In fact, their YOY numbers, if you look at it, they have halved, 50% lower. Very dismal set of numbers by Ashok Leyland. It's only TVS and Bajaj Auto which have been able to at least come in line with expectations. They've not shown any improvement per se, but at least no negative surprises or no extreme sort of performance reported there at this point in time. So no bad news or no negative surprises there, like I said. Let's also get on board Mr. Shamsher Dewan, the Vice President Sector Head at Sector Head Corporate at ICRA. Mr. Dewan, hi and welcome on board. How are you reading into the numbers? Because okay, the numbers have been bad. The degrowth is in strong double digits for everybody. They are saying that at least now that September has started, the festive season has started, they will see pickup going forward all the way up till the BS4, BS6 transition happens. Do you think the worst is over?
I would imagine so. I think the worst could be behind us, especially because much of the degrowth which has happened in the first 4 to 5 months of the current fiscal is actually contributed by inventory correction by the OEMs across the board. So if you compare the actual sales which are happening on the ground, which is reflected by the overall vehicle registration numbers, they are not as bad as what the wholesale dispatches have been. So right from passenger vehicles up until the two-wheeler segment, while you would see the wholesale dispatches are down anywhere between 15 to 25%, but the retail sales are actually not down by almost the same proportion. So let's say in the passenger vehicle segment, up until July they were down by about 7 to 8%, while the market overall was down by 22 to 26% in the passenger vehicle industry. So yes, possibly the worst could be behind us. I'm saying so because recently the government announced certain measures. First of all, they gave a clarification on the life of the BS4 vehicles, and also on the registration of ICVs versus EVs. Also, they provided some clarification. More importantly, I think the bank recapitalization should bring in some liquidity into the market. Plus several measures announced for the NBFC space as well should bring back some confidence into the overall system. Over and above that, I think the measures to increase the depreciation from 15% to 30% would also trigger some kind of corporate fleet purchase as well across the segment. So I think these are some measures which should help along with the upcoming festive season. And the worst could be behind us possibly.
No, the point that you were making, that worst is behind, but that doesn't mean that a recovery is happening. These numbers could stay where they are for a while.
Yeah, so I think when I say the worst could be behind us, I mean sequentially. So H2 could be definitely better than H1, and as I mentioned, apart from the measures which the government has taken, one is also expecting some level of pre-buying to happen in the industry before we switch over to BS6 emission norms, which kick in from April 2020. So especially in the commercial vehicle segment, where one is expecting a very severe increase in the prices of next level of trucks, there one could expect that the large fleet operators which have some amount of visibility on their customers, they could be looking at pre-buying their trucks which are up for, let's say, a replacement in the next year. So that's one. And secondly, in the two-wheeler space as well, there is a significant technology upgradation which is going to come with BS6 emission norms, and the prices of vehicles would actually increase quite substantially. So in those segments also, customers could opt for some level of pre-buying before April 2020.
Right, but talk to us about the inventory numbers, because you were saying that retail is actually not so bad as wholesale, but at least till the month of July, the figures that we have showed only an improvement for PV space. What are your channel checks indicating? Because CV and two-wheelers still continue to be, the dealers continue to be saddled with huge pile-up of inventory. When do we see that normalize?
So I have the same observation. I think the inventory into the system started building up from a subdued festive season last year, and it was more pertinent in the passenger vehicle segment. However, in the first 5 months, because of significant production cut down by various OEMs, the inventory in the system, especially for passenger vehicles, has actually come down to a stable level of maybe about 4 to 5 weeks, which is the average which the industry works on. But as you said, in the two-wheeler segment and in the commercial vehicle segment, more importantly, the inventory continues to remain high. And in fact, that in our view is one of the reasons why the August numbers were actually down quite significantly on the commercial vehicle space, because it came as a knee-jerk reaction as well, that because once we have BS6 coming in, the OEMs have to actually manage their supply chain in a way that they have adequate amount of BS4 inventory into the system through which they sell in the rest of the year, but also switch over to BS6. So there could be some realignment in the production as well, which actually showed up in the August downfall.
Thank you so much for taking our time. For us, always good to get perspective. In fact, on that note, let's listen into our auto major. We